In the exercise about the reading text, you had to answer some questions about the colonel and his life. I would like to use those sentences to revise, om te herhalen, a tense you have already seen. The past simple. In this video, you will learn more about how to form the past simple and when you should use it. I've taken some sentences from the text about the colonel. What are the verbs, de werkwoorden in these sentences? Pause the video and try to find the verbs. Correct. The words in red are the verbs in these sentences. Do you also know what tense is used? Of course, the past simple is used. Do you remember when you should use the past simple? Think about it for a second. Did these things happen in the past, the present, or future? They happen in the past. Are they still going on in the present, or do they have a link with the present? No, they don't. The past simple is used to talk about actions that clearly took place in the past and are completely over. They have no connection to the present. Now that you know when to use a past simple, we'll take a look at how to form the tense. Let's start off once again by highlighting the verbs, de werkwoorden. What are the verbs in these sentences? Pause the video and try to find them. Very good. The verbs are now marked in red. You form the positive form of the past simple by using the infinitive, dus de infinitief, of the verb minus to. Then you have to add ed at the end. So, for example, let's take a look at the first sentence. He worked in the army for 51 years. The infinitive of the verb is to work. To form the past simple, you get rid of the word to, and then you're left with only work. Then you add ed to the end of the verb, so it becomes, he worked in the army for 51 years. This is the regular rule, but there are a few exceptions, and these will be discussed in the next slide. Let's take a look at this sentence. The colonel retired when he was 69 years old. What does the infinitive end in? So, to retire. Correct, it ends in an E. And if the infinitive ends in an E, you only add a D to the verb. Dus dan moet je enkel de letter D nog toevoegen aan het werkwoord. So, to retire becomes retired, and to decide becomes decided. Then, the next sentence. The colonel married 5 women. And the infinitive is to marry. What does the infinitive end in? Correct, it ends in a Y. If the infinitive ends in a consonant plus a Y, dus als de infinitief eindigt op een medeklinker en een Griekse ei, then you have to change the Y into IED. So for example, to cry becomes cried, and to marry becomes married. Here's an overview of the positive form of the past simple. So I played football, you played football, he, she, it played football, we played football, you played football, and they played football. Again, you have the rule here, but don't forget about the exceptions. There are also a few irregular verbs that you have to learn by heart. Dus de onregelmatige werkwoorden moet je van buiten leren. You can find them in your grammar summary on pages 23 and 24. Of course, there's also a negative form of the past simple. What are the verbs in these sentences? Pause the video and try to find them. Very good. The verbs are now highlighted in red. Take a look at the verbs. How do you think we form the negative form of the past simple? Correct. We use the past form of the auxiliary verb, het hulpwerkwoord to do, plus the word not, plus the infinitive, the infinitief of the full verb minus to. To form the negative form of the past simple, you use the word don't or do not. Let's take a look at the first sentence as an example. He didn't work in the army for 51 years. The infinitive of the verb is to work. Then you get rid of the word to, and then you're left with only work. And then we also have to add the auxiliary verb, so it becomes he didn't work in the army for 51 years. Here's an overview of the negative form of the past simple. I didn't play or did not play football. You didn't play football. He, she, it didn't play football. We didn't play football. You didn't play football. And they didn't play football. Both the short form didn't play and full form did not play are both correct. Then lastly, we need to know how to form questions using the past simple. I'm going to ask you the same question. What are the verbs in these sentences? Wat zijn de werkwoorden? Pause the video and try to find them. Very good. So the verbs are now highlighted in red. Take a look at the verbs. How do you think we form the questions using the past simple? Very good. We use the past form of the auxiliary verb, het hulpwerkwoord to do, which is did, plus the infinitive of the full verb minus to. When forming questions, the auxiliary verb to do comes first. So in the first sentence, that's did. Then the subject, het onderwerp. In the first sentence, it's he. And then the full verb, so work. So it becomes, did he work in the army for 51 years? Here's another overview of the questions in the past simple. So, did I play football? Did you play football? Did he, she, or it play football? Did we play football? Did you play football? And did they play football? Then, he regretted marrying his last wife. The infinitive is to regret. What does the infinitive end in? Very good. It ends in a T, and that letter is a consonant, een medeklinker in het Nederlands. What do we call the letter right in front of the T? Aan de ene kant hebben we medeklinkers, maar wat is E? It is an E, and that's what we call a vowel, of een klinker in het Nederlands. If we say the word regret, the second E is stressed. Dus de klemtoon wordt op de tweede E in het woord gelegd. So, if the infinitive ends in one vowel that is stressed and followed by a consonant, we double the consonant and add ed. Dus als het werkwoord eindigt op een klinker waarop de klemtoon ligt en die klinker wordt gevolgd door een medeklinker, dan moet je de laatste medeklinker dubbel schrijven. So, for example, to commit becomes committed and to regret becomes regretted. There are a few exceptions to this rule. If the final consonant is an L, The L is always doubled in British English, even if the single vowel of it isn't stressed. Dus de L moet je altijd dubbel schrijven. Maakt niet uit of de klemtoon ligt op de klinker of niet. And then we never double a final X or W.